Streaming live on WFLA Now. Powered by 1-800-ASK-GARY. Here's J.B. Biunno.
A new development as the search for Brian Laundrie continues. His sister, Cassie Laundrie, saw him not once, but twice, including being with him here at the Fort DeSoto campground in early September after Brian returned from his cross-country trip with Gabby Petito, or actually without Gabby Petito, even though she told the media that she hadn't seen him after he came back to Florida. Hey there, folks. J.B. Biunno here with you live on WFLA Now. Great to have Josh Benson here with us back here live on stream, as well as Aid on Your Side investigator Masa Saidi. Masa, you just spoke with Steven Bertolino via text message, the attorney for Brian Laundrie. What'd you find out?
So I think it's important to start with what the sister had told GMA during an interview on September 17th. And she had an exclusive interview with GMA, and Cassie Laundrie, Brian Laundrie's sister, said that, quote, "We haven't been able to talk with him. I wish I could talk with him." And then she said that she's cooperated in every way that she can, but she called him a wonderful uncle. So again, we have the sister on September 17th saying that she has not spoken to Brian Laundrie, according to reporting from ABC. And I'm going to open up my text messages on my phone. So obviously the question is, was she telling the truth? Is the family telling the truth about their interactions? And the attorney, all I said was, "Good afternoon." And the attorney shot me that text because he knew what this was about. Like, I just said hi, and then boom.
Probably rapid fire right down the text chain,
Right,
yeah.
exactly. And he said, quote, "Cassie saw her brother Brian on September 1st. That's when Brian got back to Northport without Gabby, when he stopped by her home, and again on September 6th at Fort DeSoto Park. Law enforcement agencies are well aware of these dates," says the attorney. "Any prior communication by Cassie that does not reflect these dates is simply a difference of relating an answer to a question misinterpreted by Cassie or poorly posed by the inquirer." So basically, yeah.
So let me hop in here. So what Steven Bertolino, the attorney, is saying here is that Cassie Laundrie misinterpreted the question in that ABC interview and didn't understand that question correctly. And when she said that she hadn't seen Brian since he returned home from that cross-country trip, returned home to Florida, that's what people are talking about online right now.
She said, "I haven't been able to talk to him. I wish I could talk to him." And I think that's where the contradiction comes in, and this is why we're talking about this now. Because if in the event that she's answered it that way and hasn't seen him, but then all of a sudden we can prove now that she saw him on the 1st and eventually at the park on the 6th, we have records from Pinellas County putting the family there, or at least Roberta reservation and camping trip there, the 6th through the 7th, according to the attorney. So it's all about putting the timeline together now and trying to like level up on what things are true and what things aren't. And when you look at this, that's why this is such a big development today, in that the sister, according to the attorney, saw him on the 1st and then on the 6th as well.
I'll just say this, as far as on behalf of our viewers here on social media, part of my job here is, of course, to report what people are saying out there. There were already a sizable, overwhelming, let's just say, amount of people out there that just did not believe Brian Laundrie's parents, or doesn't believe Brian Laundrie's parents here, as far as what has been coming out from Steven Bertolino, the attorney. And this doesn't help that. This doesn't help the public view here of the Laundrie family. Masa, we only have another few more minutes. We know that we got to get you going here as far as filing a report for our newscast here tonight on WFLA News Channel 8, your NBC station here in Tampa, Florida. But what development as far as the development, what does this mean now going forward, and how does this impact the search for Brian Laundrie?
Well, so again, the FBI is leading the search here, and the FBI is not telling us anything. So we have no information at this point. We're unable to confirm any information from law enforcement. The Laundrie family attorney, again, they're saying that law enforcement agencies are well aware of these dates. They know that, Cassie saw her brother because Brian stopped by her brother's house on September 1st. Law enforcement is aware of the fact that the family was all at Fort DeSoto. What impact does this have on the investigation? Well, at last check, my understanding was that the Laundrie family was not discussing certain details with law enforcement. I haven't heard that that has changed. So I think this is just what people are looking at as they try to determine, this family, how credible they are, what information they're putting out there, and, take it for what it is.
What do you think, Josh?
Sorry, I was reading another thing here.
No, it's okay.
No,
Just
no, no. I look, and I'm the question I ask myself now is if we can put the family pretty much at the campground on the 6th, and he's been back on the 1st without Gabby. That's kind of standing out to me as they're having a family camping trip here after she's not there. He came home alone, and to me, that's just doesn't feel right. What are they talking about on this camping trip? What are they? What's the discussion at this camping spot? That's just kind of replaying in my mind, and I know a lot of viewers that are watching are asking the same question. It's just really bizarre to me that would transpire here. Now we know, based on attorney information and records, that they were there.
We have media, and again, you can use any of the hashtags here on your screen, and we can animate your comments here on screen using hashtag #HeyJB, hashtag #HeyJosh, or hashtag #HeyMasa. But the most liked comment didn't have a hashtag, so I can't animate it here, but it said, so Cassie misunderstood the most basic, simple question in the world? And so Steven Bertolino saying that Cassie Laundrie misinterpreted the question. I mean, her exact quote here we have for you on WFLA.com and the WFLA app, and if you guys have it here in front of you,
Yeah.
Here it is. I haven't been able to talk to him. I wish I could talk to him.
Yeah,
I've cooperated in every way that I can. I wish I had information or I would give more. Now, Steven Bertolino is saying that she misinterpreted the question with that response, but that's pretty black and white. Is it not, Masa?
I can argue that it's possibly not. So she said,
Okay.
We haven't been able to talk with him. I wish I could talk with him. So she's saying talk with him. Talk about what happened. Talk about...
Could be misconstrued different ways.
Talk. And so the text message says that Cassie saw her brother. The attorney says that she saw her brother when he stopped by the home. And again, she saw him at Fort DeSoto. It doesn't say that they talked about the incident. So she didn't say, I haven't seen him. From what I pulled from GMA's website and from what I saw that they put out there, the sister didn't say, I haven't seen him. She said, we haven't been able to talk with him. I wish I could talk with him. Those were the words that they put out there. So based on just those words.
But if you're all at a campground, I mean, that comes down to the question. If you're all at the campground together, are you not talking to each other? That's what a lot of people want to know.
All right, let's start.
And we're just peeling apart the layers, as Masa is doing here, to look at the explanation from the attorney.
Yeah.
Look at the, obviously, and analyze the interview, and kind of put that in front of everybody to make their own conclusions.
And stay, of course, on, with fact here. Yeah. And there's already, I'm seeing a lot here in our comment section, a lot of confusion here. And I'll show you just an example here, Masa and Josh, of some of the comments that we're getting in here. But Amber Brock, hashtag #HeyJosh, who goes on a one-night camping trip? Also, 4 of them nonetheless. And I guess you could say, no, well, hold on a second. To Amber's credit here, they arrive on the 6th and they leave on the 7th. So that is a one-night, 2-day camping trip, according to the attorney.
According to the record, the reservation was through the 8th.
Yes, 6th through the 8th, but Bertolino says it was from the 6th to the 7th.
Right.
And who goes on a one-night camping trip? I would imagine that people do use this Fort DeSoto for weekend camping trips.
Yeah. No, I could see somebody picking up and doing a quick trip, a rocket run, so to speak. I mean, back in Minnesota, we have a cabin up there. My family will make a rocket run up to the cabin for a night and come back just to check on it. It's just, I think people would do that. I don't think that's out of the question.
I want to, Masa, this is something that I've been saying here on WFLA the last several days, as far as we were talking about, going camping after you return from a cross-country road trip without your fiance. Deb Peterson, hashtag #HeyJB. This is again from our commenter, Deb Peterson. Very fishy. The fiance, Gabby, who lived with the Laundries for 2 years, she's missing and they go camping. Deb says, so not right. And this speaks to now, again, the public here reacting to this news. People from the very beginning here, Masa, on this story just said that something didn't feel right. And it's just the semantics of the beginning of the story, and that Brian Laundrie returns home from Wyoming, from Utah, from this cross-country road trip to Florida without his fiance, has an attorney hired right away, and then no one hears or sees from him as far as the public view. So there's just a lot of people out there. This just does not, it adds more to, this just doesn't sit right with the public.
Yeah, I can totally understand why some people are saying that and why some people feel that way. We don't know where she is, and the family went camping together. What does it mean legally? What does it mean as far as their guilt? I think, you can't derive anything from that. But I certainly understand the feeling that people have at this beautiful young woman missing, and some of the people closest to her are searching for her.
And there's discussion too of how much did the family know when he got back? What kind of story did he tell them? Did he tell them anything? Did he make up a story to think that she was okay and doing fine and would be home at a later date? Well, then that puts a position in the fact that a camping trip for a night, just because there's now family members are back together, isn't so out of the ordinary. Maybe they're just going because they wanted to try to all get together. It could be anything. We could speculate all day long, but that's just not what we're here to do.
Masa, before we let you go, what you're working on, and again, before we let you go, we'll see you tonight on WFLA News Channel 8, correct?
Actually, I'll let you know if you're going to see me tonight on WFLA.
You're working on a lot of things. I know you are.
It's a
You're
planning
not
day,
a lot of things.
If news breaks, you'll probably
I'll
be
on
there.
if news breaks. I'm taking a close look at that body camera video that was released, JB. That's it.
Thanks a lot.
Good to have your
Everybody,
voice back, though, huh?
Thank you. Yeah, it's a little back. Thanks, guys.
Good.
Take care.
everybody, go give Masa Saidi a follow on social media. Really appreciate it, Masa. Thank you. Back here with you live, Josh Benson, J.B. Biunno. Let's get to some of the more. We'll kind of go as rapid fire here, Josh, through the hashtag HeyJB, hashtag HeyJosh comments and questions that are coming in here, and they're coming in so rapid fire here, folks. The queue is just racking up with these comments. When these comments come in, they get added to our queue, and then the more people that use hashtag HeyJosh or hashtag HeyJB, it just gets overwhelming for us. And there are thousands and thousands of comments and questions here in the queue. Man. So all right, we'll take this kind of comment and question, and we can't answer this, but Christopher Borelli here, hashtag HJB, this just deepens the mystery. Who is hiding Brian? And let me make this very clear, staying on fact here, staying on track here. We don't know that Brian Laundrie is hiding. We know, of course, that he is a person, and that's how people feel, of course, but we do not know that. Fact-based content here for you folks. We don't know that he is hiding. He is the subject of a missing persons case, and yes, he is the sole person of interest in an FBI-led criminal investigation. But this is the feeling right now on social media here, Josh, is that there are so many people now theorizing that this is now adding up here as far as Brian's disappearance and where he could be at this time.
Yeah, and I mean, again, it's just people are kind of getting frustrated of the lack of updates and wanting to know how he could be hiding out this long. First of all, we've had several people in this case step forward to speak on survival in terms of how you could survive in the Carlton Reserve, given the conditions, based on if he got away, how long he could last without getting access to money or travel. There's so many facets to the two different places he could be. Either he's in the reserve or he's not. And if he's in the reserve, is he dead or alive? There's a lot of that question as well. So all we know is the FBI still focuses on the reserve. And there are other independent investigations going on, but not at the reserve. So the focus remains there as far as we know. Today, we haven't seen much activity, if any, out there today. So that's pretty interesting in itself. But the last we've known is that bodies of water were of interest in the reserve. And yesterday they did come by the house to get a sample for the dogs, according to the attorney. The family attorney said that. And that's why, JB, I wanted to bring that point up. I think the dogs are a very interesting aspect of this. And I've been trying to work on that in the last day to try to figure out, I even emailed the FBI to see if they would give me some kind of indication of what kind of dogs are being used in this search. Are they live scent dogs, or are they cadaver dogs, or are they a cross between both? Because they don't know necessarily if he is dead or alive in the reserve, or if he's there at all. So what kind of dogs do you use? Because they can't, as far as I understand it, they can't be cross-trained in terms of looking for live humans or dead humans. So if we could find that information out, or at least know what kind of dogs are used, getting some indications that maybe bloodhounds are a part of that search as well. Obviously, they're great dogs for finding missing persons. But in terms of what kind of dogs and what type of training they've had, and if they're circled out or cycled out as well, that would also explain why they needed a new scent at the house. That could either be because the scent has expired and they needed a fresh scent, or they have a new set of dogs coming in that they have to reactivate the scent for the new team. So I'm fascinated by the dogs, and I'm trying to learn more on what's going on out there in the reserve.
All right, got a lot of questions and comments in the queue here, everybody, that we can now bring here into the conversation. Use hashtag HeyJB, hashtag HeyJosh. Christopher Borelli, thanks a lot for yours. Brittany Purdy, hashtag HeyJB, hashtag HeyJosh. Do we know if the FBI has looked at the sisters' phone? And the answer to this is no. We don't know what resources that the FBI is using to examine cellular records or device records here. And we don't know if the FBI has looked at the sister's phone in particular. We don't know much about the ongoing federal investigation. Josh, anything to add there?
Any questions about the FBI are just impossible for us to answer.
Kelly Hall, #AJB, and I'll go to Josh here because Josh has been in touch with Dog the Bounty Hunter's team. Do we know where Dog is now? Did he give up, or is he following a hot tip? Yeah, we haven't seen much from Dog the Bounty Hunter over the last in some time here. So
I stay in touch with Dog's team. They're back searching today. I don't know if I can disclose where, but that's what they weren't very specific, but they're back on their independent search today. That's all I know.
How about this? Sam Valdez, #AJB. Why haven't they released Gabby's cause of death? And we had a great roundtable on earlier, folks, with Bryant Camerano, Ken Stevens. We had Anthony Rickman, some brilliant minds here as far as answering questions like this one. And we did. The FBI could be now just not releasing the cause of death because it could be sensitive information, precious information that is part of an ongoing federal investigation. There were some scenarios played back there on that stream as far as in generalities how and why and some of the reasons behind why they wouldn't release Gabby's cause of death. But it's really just because only the person who would be in theory responsible for this person's homicide, they have that precious information, and they would have to, of course, confirm that information is in fact factual.
Right.
So appreciate the question here, Sam. Christina Bomel, #AJB, #AJosh. Why all of a sudden is the attorney now answering questions? Also, this is why the world believes that they had a lot to do with Brian's disappearance. And I'll just kind of go here to Christina and just say, actually, I think that the attorney has been releasing trickles, small pieces of information, but on a consistent basis here. We've been talking about Steven Bertolino a lot and the information, Josh, that he's been releasing.
And look, I think that's a great point because some attorneys in this situation, this is a huge case.
They would be zipped.
And sometimes you won't get a peep out of an attorney. I know in cases that we've covered in the past, you've been pleading with attorneys just to give you some kind of nugget of what's going on. I find this attorney to be responsive. He responds to a lot of people. It's pretty quick. And I got to say that's pretty nice for media because we at least get some kind of updates and indication to help kind of clarify what we're trying to relay to the public about what we know in the case. And he can confirm or deny these things. I'm happy with what he's doing in terms of releasing information.
Next question and comment here. Everybody just checking a couple things. Okay, good. I was just checking our connection, and our connection is solid. We do not want to lose our audience, so every now and again I got to check to make sure that we are not.
I was going to make a point, too. I know we've had Brian Enton from News Nation on. He did travel out to Cassie Laundrie's house in Lakewood Ranch and just been tweeting that he didn't get an answer out there, heard some dogs barking, went up to the house, and now he is on his way back, what I assume, to Northport. So we have had reporters out, and people have asked me that, even on Twitter, been asking, have we been out to the sister's house? And the answer is yes. We've had several instances where reporters been out there to try to talk with someone, but not successfully.
Samantha Louise, #AJosh, #AJB, saying right on cue here, this is why the attorney should remain quiet. Conflicting stories here. So, if you're Cassie Laundrie right now, Josh, you're not a happy camper, and that's not a pun. Based on the video here in the center of our screen, that is not a pun.
Right.
But you told ABC one thing, and now your attorney is speaking to the world saying, well, in fact, no, we saw him twice since he returned to Florida without Gabby Petito. So I would imagine Cassie, and we don't know this for certainty, but if I were Cassie Laundrie right now, I'm not feeling a whole bit good right now about these new developments.
Well, and keep in mind, remember when the attorney was retained and the family was not giving any indication of speaking whatsoever, she did. Remember that? Her interview with GMA was one of the first and the only looks into the family and hearing from a family member. That came out right away in the beginning of this case. So I found that interesting that no one in the family was talking, and all of a sudden she pops up with a little bit of info on when she talked to her brother last, and so to those kind of details. But I found that very interesting that she was speaking.
Likewise. Dolores Hastings, #AJB. Do we know for a fact that Brian returned home before he went missing? And we have the van, of course, the license plate that was tagged, in the Northport area on September 1st.
Yeah, and the attorney also saying before he left his cell phone and his wallet.
Yep, and also too, and then for just additional, it's not an official means of confirmation, but the Guthries, again, saying that they saw Brian Laundrie there as well, the neighbors, speaking of Fox News.
Sure.
As well, so that's very interesting. Ashley Rose Timmons is all of us right now. Ashley Timmons, you are me under the surface. I am with you here when she says #Hey Josh, #JB, find him already. Then where is he? Where is he? So we know that Brian Laundrie was here at the campground, according to Steven Bertolino, at the campground here on September 6th, September 7th, and then everything goes murky from there. So now, this is an Eagle 8 video from the other day. Now, does Fort DeSoto, with this new information now, does Fort DeSoto become, and this area really, does southern Pinellas County become a more thorough area that authorities and even Dog the Bounty Hunter and others search as far as looking for Brian Laundrie?
Yeah, no, and I think the FBI is going to continue and has been out at the Carlton Reserve. And this, like I said earlier, as far as we know today, we don't know if there's a search going on or not. We haven't been able to visibly see anybody searching the Carlton Reserve. As far as Fort DeSoto, yes, the independent investigation's been going on out there, and that continues essentially. And it's trying to. You have to kind of slow down in terms of this investigation because everybody wants it solved. They wanted it solved last week. They want it solved today. But this could be something where if Brian went on the run and has been able to evade public exposure, it could be a long time. It could be a long time before we ever hear any more updates on this case. And that's what's frustrating, but it's a frustrating reality. And if he's in the reserve and he's not alive, you would hope that they would at least find property of his to help indicate that he was there or is there.
Just anything, a dropped item, a bandana, anything
and we don't
with
know
his
they haven't
scent on
found
it.
that yet. Keep in mind, they could have found something of his in the reserve and have been coming back to the house to either ask the parents about things or getting another sample for things. So we aren't privy to that information. They may have certainly found something by now.
Ashley Walker, I love the profile picture. Got a cute kid in the profile picture there with a big smile. #KJB, are the parents still cooperating in quote unquote finding their son? And the answer to this, based on, of course, the developments yesterday afternoon, is yes, because the FBI, Josh and I were live when the FBI pulled up to the house. They went into the camper, they went into the house, and they left with belongings that will aid them, according to Bertolino, aid investigators in picking up on the scent, the canines picking up on Brian Laundrie's scent. So are they cooperating at this time? Josh, based on what we know, there's no indication that they are not cooperating.
Yeah, cooperating in the sense of working with authorities. They're not actively out trying to find their son. We know that they're just at the house. So, yeah.
Cassandra Picanco, #HJB, #HeyJosh. Could Brian secretly be a suspect, but the FBI is withholding that information until they find him? Well, he is of course, he's wanted, and you could say a suspect in use of unauthorized access devices in the charge, the federal arrest warrant charge.
Yeah.
So you could, but is he? I think what Cassandra is saying is, could Brian secretly be a suspect connected to Gabby Petito's homicide? And the answer, based on the roundtable that we had, what was that, about 3 hours ago now on WFLA Now, and I encourage folks to go watch it. We learned a lot there from the legal experts. The answer to that is yes, that there could be additional charges forthcoming based on Brian's discovery and based on, of course, just getting that initial charge in, that federal arrest warrant charge in initially here. So that's we'll take a few more here from Twitter and YouTube here. Let's go to Twitter. Giacca. #HeyJB on Twitter. #HeyJosh on Twitter. What would it take for Brian to become a suspect instead of just a person of interest? And again, just back to this thread here, he could already be a suspect. It's just
more probable cause. I mean, evidence of the fact that maybe on the body or near the body or something to indicate that puts him there or as part of that investigation, enough probable cause to show, yes, he's our guy and he's an official suspect, but we haven't gotten there yet.
Demi Mannion on YouTube, hashtag Hey Josh, hashtag Hey JB. From the UK here, a big shout out to the UK audience. Really quickly about the UK audience, I've received a lot of private messages on my WFLA JB Instagram and JB Facebook page and all those places where I do read direct messages, folks. And there's just a great audience there in the UK that is following this story. And of course, they're not covering it like we are. They're not covering it there in the UK with as much coverage. So they found us from really around the world. People are following this stream here. And if you're joining us internationally, I would just like to say hello there to you and thanks for watching. Demi saying, thanks for keeping me updated. I have to ask, what is the difference between homicide and murder?
It's a good question.
And it's a question that comes down to kind of legal semantics. Homicide is a death that does not occur naturally, and murder is the act of actually, of course, murdering somebody. And I don't have the legal definition in front of me right now.
Is a killing of a person by another, but that could be intentionally or unintentionally. So murder is committed. They call it quote unquote malice aforethought. That doesn't mean it's a malicious killing, but in the instance of breaking down the semantics, like you said, that's where the line is drawn. Either homicide is somebody kills somebody, but we don't know if it was somebody was pushed in front of a car accidentally or if it was on purpose. You know what I mean?
And then when you get deeper into that, of course, then you talk about the difference between murder and manslaughter and why somebody would be charged with murder versus being charged with manslaughter, because you could be driving down the street, hit somebody, it wasn't your intention to, but you were speeding.
Manslaughter.
Vehicular homicide, vehicular manslaughter. Yeah, so there is a very important distinction between homicide and between murder, and right now this is a homicide investigation.
Once, if he is brought in on this, and this does become a situation where he is a suspect and they bring charges, that's going to all play out in a trial way down the line if that ever were to happen. And then that we would get into all the details surrounding how that would work, or whomever it is involved in the homicide of Gabby Petito.
Demi, thanks a lot for your question, your comment. Loretta on Twitter, hashtag Hey JB, hashtag Hey Josh. Has anyone seen or spoke to their lawyer in person? Thinking face, why is it always via text or email to the media? Well, first and foremost, he's in New York. Steven Bertolino isn't in Florida, or at least if he's in Florida, he's not publicly making aware of his whereabouts.
I don't think we've seen the family with the attorney visually at all.
No. And that's not to say that he hasn't, but of course there was Steven Bertolino said that he met in person with the family in Orlando during that trip that was that midweek trip. Yeah. So he has been in Florida, according to him, and he did meet and sit down with Chris and Roberta Laundrie. But I haven't seen him. In fact, I don't know what Steven Bertolino looks like. You, Josh?
I have seen a picture of him, yeah.
Okay, I've not seen a picture of him, just myself. But yeah, I mean, he's in East Islip, New York, and he's an attorney at law there there he is. I see a picture of him now. He's an attorney in New York, and he's representing clientele here, of course, in Florida. We'll take one more here, Leah Marie, and I'll explain why here, folks. Hashtag HJB, hashtag Hey Josh. You think even if it was an accident, I don't think it was, do you think he's hiding out suspicious as ever? And see, here's the thing. I highlight Leah's comment here just because of the word suspicious. This is the word that what everybody is kind of saying right now on social media as far as how they feel. I think suspicious is the word that best describes how everybody feels out there with this new development that Cassie Laundrie did in fact see her brother twice upon returning to Florida without his fiance. Suspicious is the word here. I don't think that we can answer the question, do you think he'd be hiding out? But suspicious is the word that I think encapsulates what people are saying across Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube and Instagram at this hour, Josh. Yeah,
and look, according to the attorney, we don't know if she just misunderstood the question. I mean, you look at it from a basic lens, it sounds strange, but we really can't answer the questions on, did she misunderstand the question? Did she not see him before he came back? And then all of a sudden it's proven that they have seen each other. Those just all go into the narrative of what's going on in this and the timeline. So it's our job to try to get those facts and pull them out and put them into the timeline so we get a bit better picture for the public and a better picture for ourselves as to what happened here and how or if the family is related to the case. So that's essentially what we're doing day in and day out, is just analyzing this material to try to get fact.
And we're going to stay committed to the facts here, everybody, at WFLA News Channel 8. Josh, you got to get going to prepare for our 4 o'clock newscast here. We've got to wrap up here on WFLA Now. What are you going to be monitoring here in the hours ahead? And I know folks can follow you on social media.
Yeah, it's just quiet today, and I think we got to expect these quiet days because obviously if there's a search going on, it's going to continue, and we should probably get updates on that soon. But very quiet. I mean, the development with the sister is the one topic, the big development today. I heard you had some guests on earlier. That was good to kind of dissect some of the things that we're bringing in here, especially from a legal perspective, because we haven't had a whole lot of that. So that was great to be able to have them chime in on the case in itself. But just monitoring any updates that are happening, keeping an eye on the missing person, the Maya Marcano missing person case over in Orange County. That's an interesting one as well. They're searching for her currently. So that's what I'm working on. I'm over at Twitter at twitter.com/WFLA Josh. I post everything I have over there as well. I did want to make a point too. We didn't really talk about the second body cam video from the second officer.
Yeah, we talked about that on the live stream.
Yeah.
Yep. But chime in.
No,
please.
it was disturbing to watch. And, a lot of people said there should be a trigger warning on this video. And I agree. Because today is October 1st. It's National Domestic Violence Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So I just want to put that out there as a reminder for everybody as we talk about domestic violence now, because it's coming into the narrative of this case. It's coming into cases pretty much we cover often here at News Channel 8. But to remember that and support local domestic shelters, violence shelters, donate clothing, food, furniture. If you just Google domestic violence shelters in your area, you'll get a list of people who are doing good things to help victims. So donate to them, help support them, and let's just focus on that for the month of October at least. Moving on.
Josh Benson, everybody. You'll catch him tonight on television on WFLA News Channel 8. You'll see him on the anchor desk beginning at 4 o'clock. Josh, thanks a whole lot.
All right. Thanks, JB. Thanks, guys.
All right, everybody. I'll stay here with you live for just another minute or two to explain how this works here now going forward here. So, folks, we do have to wrap up our live stream here. Now, this is something new that I haven't passed along here to you, as far as I've been receiving on my WFLA J.B. Facebook and Instagram and Twitter accounts. I've been receiving so many messages, so many tweets, so many DMs, if you will, from some people saying, "Oh, JB, talk about this," and "JB, please bring up this," and and JB, please go stream at this time of day. Our international audience, I know that some folks are watching it at 3 o'clock in the morning in some places. There's a lot of folks that want to give feedback on how we go about this and how we do our jobs here. Feedback is so important to me, to us, to the WFLA News Channel 8 team here, and we want to encourage you, and we want to let you know how to give feedback so that you're not. I'm not kidding when I say thousands of unread messages on my accounts that are going to take me a very long time to go through here. I appreciate all of the commenters that are trying to chime in and direct message me on this story. And I will continue to go. Every night when I go home, I try to unplug as best I can, but I also want to respond to you. I don't have much time to respond over the course of the day, but I want to give you the cheat code. I want to give you the cheat code here about how you can directly get through here and help us as far as feedback. Do you think we should be streaming longer right now? We have to hop off here in about 6 minutes. We have 6 more minutes here with you on stream, and perhaps even less than that. We have to hop off here because of course, station operations. We cannot stay here with you longer. There are people who would like for us to continue the conversation here, bring in more guests, bring in more experts, bring in Brian Enton of News Nation, bring in Walt Buteau, 8 on Your Side senior investigator, and I want to let you know how and the best, most meaningful way, again, cheat code, for your voice to be heard. There are 2 ways. And I really, for the super fans, if you will, of WFLA Now that have been following every single solitary stream, even before the Gabby Petito story, became the story that it has become, I want to let you know that there is always ways to submit feedback. Should we be streaming longer? Should we be streaming shorter? Should we include, more guests? What do you want to see on these live streams? We do it for our audience here. We bring you in, not just because I want to hear #HeyJB a million times over and over again. We want to because you are part of the conversation, and we value what you have to say and what you think as far as the best way we can go about our online streaming coverage here on WFLA Now. So here are the 2 ways. Way number 1, go to WFLA.com. On WFLA.com, you will see under station info, I'm going to repeat this several times so that people can follow this. You go to WFLA.com. Under station info, you will see Send It. You can use Send It to send information directly to us in the newsroom, and that, of course, goes out to all of us, including to those in station operations here. Again, I cannot continue streaming here for very much longer because of station operations here. So if you would like for us to, again, any feedback, good, bad, any feedback whatsoever about the job that we are doing, there are two ways. Go to WFLA.com, station info, and go to Send It, and you'll see a form there. And you think, oh, that form goes nowhere. It's just a placebo. All it is just there for us to click something. So, no, that form goes on blast to a whole lot of people here at WFLA. A lot of people. So if you want to access a meaningful means of feedback, again, one more time, the first way, WFLA.com, station info, and then you'll find the Send It form. And that does get results, believe me. In fact, our 8 on Your Side investigations, a lot of them come from that Send It form. The second way is more, the first way is more of a private one-on-one kind of way, just a way to reach us directly. The more public way is to go to the WFLA Facebook page. I'll do this right now. You go to the WFLA Facebook page, and there's several different sections that you'll see on the WFLA Facebook page. And when it loads, just waiting for things to load, you're going to see an area called, I believe it's called Reviews, and I want to make sure that I have this right for our audience here. Because, again, so many people have been asking for a more meaningful way to be able to provide feedback and say, JB, talk about this. JB, you really need to be talking about this more. We hear you. We hear you loud and clear. And, again, I want to give you the most efficient way to reach us here, because it's going to take me weeks to get through some of these direct messages here. You go to WFLA's Facebook page, and you will see a section titled Reviews. That's it. WFLA Facebook page, and go to Reviews, and give us a review. We are fully open here. Give us a review, what you think, the good, bad, whatever you think of our coverage and how we can be better. That's really important to us on WFLA Now. So we really want to, should we be streaming longer? Should we be streaming shorter amounts? Should we be streaming more over the course of the day? Should there be more people involved? Do you want to see more of me? Do you want to see less of me? Do you want to see more of Josh? You understand where I'm going with this? Any form of feedback about what our coverage means to you here, go to WFLA's Facebook page, go to Reviews, and submit a review. Or again, go to WFLA.com, go to Station Info, and complete the Send It form over there. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us here. I have to get going due to station operations here. There's a lot more here that goes on at WFLA. We are very much on this story, but of course, we're monitoring a lot of developments at this hour. A lot of things are going on here, so I have to get going. But as a reminder here, folks, we're live with any more breaking developments here on WFLA Now across all of our platforms. And our article hub, the WFLA.com WFLA app article hub for the latest on Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie, it lives on our site. It lives on our app, our award-winning team working around the clock to churn out content here on this story and provide you with the latest. We don't go to bed. We have, of course, literally a 24/7 team here around the clock at all hours to monitor this story, and we're live with any developments that occur, and also have it all in written form in the article hub on WFLA.com and the WFLA app. We'll be back here live with you on WFLA Now. Again, those are the means for submitting feedback that are most efficient for you, and I appreciate everybody joining us. The latest right now on WFLA.com and the WFLA app.